What's going on? And, this is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. Early this morning news. Early in the morning news. Figure I'm gonna knock this episode out now before that way I won't have to won't forget it later on. Forget it later. You know what I'm saying. So we're gonna knock this episode out now. About this doubleheader out now early this morning. Uh, so let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. On this named Wet Tuesday. All right, recently KDF, Kentucky Derby Festival officials had to make changes to the festival recently because somebody decided to lose their mind and get into it at that festival. Um, I just don't. It's just a crazy thing. Um, how some people can ruin a pretty great event, pretty uh, something that's pretty fun. Seems like it's fun to go to. Because somebody said something, or somebody stepped on somebody or whatever. Uh, but it's the foolishness of Louisville. Is the reason why they can't keep none. In other words, but let's get right into it. I do a small commentary after I read the story. It's brought to it's brought to WOKY with editor being Joyce Guri. Uh, this was updated at 12:36 a.m. on April 27th, 2026. Over Kentucky, Kroger's festival at the Big Four Lawn faced two straight nights of disruptions over the weekend. A large group of a large group large as large groups of teenagers sparked fights drew a heavy police response that ultimately forced early closures. The trouble began Saturday night when officials say groups of teens started causing trouble inside the event. There had some groups of juveniles who were just creating disturbances throughout the venue, just creating chaos, impacting other people's experience. Said Amy Boyd, spokesperson of the Kentucky Derby Festival. Organizers shut the event down early, but the issue still didn't end there. Police say hundreds of teens moved into nearby downtown streets where fights and disorderly behavior continued, prompting additional officers to respond. Outreach teams with Pivot to Peace Louisville also assisted in calming the situation down. There were some conflict, but in a partnership with Festival, the Office of Violence Prevention, Goodwill, and PD, where we were able to diffuse a lot of the situations, said Stefan Colston. But ultimately, the event would wound up closing. In response, the Louisville Metro Police Department said it increased its presence around the waterfront Sunday as a provocative safety measure, emphasizing the officers were not responsible for security inside the venue. Early Sunday evening, the services began to start up again between 7 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. Festivale rest capacity and stopped allowing additional entry. Shortly afterwards, police said large groups of unaccompanied minors gathered outside the venue and moved toward Waterfront Park and the Big Four Bridge. That's where police say multiple disturbances broke out, including fights, juveniles using a pepper spray. How in the world do juveniles get pepper spray? Mm. On one another, pepper spray on one another. During one incident involving a group of girls, an officer was assaulted while trying to intervene. Police had ended up arresting 3 minors, an adult who was identified as Elijah Cummings. He faces several charges, including carrying a concealed deadly weapon, menacing, terroristic threatening, and wanton endangerment. Minors are facing a range of charges: third-degree assault, possession of firearms by a minor, carrying a concealed deadly weapon, first-degree wanton endangerment, fleeing, second-degree disorderly conduct, and third-degree criminal trespassing. Police also recovered 2 guns. At one point during the WLK Wire's coverage of Sunday nights, the situation escalated nearby when a group of teens ran through the area as pepper spray filled the air. Porter Joyce or Gory and photographer Lance Price were there when it happened. They said the pepper spray got in their eyes. They couldn't even see for several minutes. Man. Several police said several disturbances like this highlight the concern about large groups of teens who show up unsupervised to major community events. It's critical important. It is critically important for parents and guardians to know where their children are, who they are with, and what they are doing, especially during large events. LMPD and said in a statement. Festival organizers say they're now making changes in response, including stricter entry policies. Adults will not be allowed to accompany more than 3 teenagers, and masks will be prohibited unless worn by medical reasons. For many attendees, this disruption was disappointing but not entirely surprising. It's not surprising, but it is upsetting, said Mara Smith. Other worry about the impact of the city's image and the future of the festival. It's just a shame because the Louisville Derby Festival puts such a wonderful event for all ages. And Melissa Johnson said Melissa Johnson. So for them to be fighting and having it closed down early is just too bad. Jessica Harp said it didn't necessarily change whether we were going to come, but it's always unfortunate. Hopefully things go good for everybody and has a good time. A boy said the incident like these have lasting effects. It impacts them financially. It impacts the festival in the long run as well. She said everything we do goes back into producing our festival for the next year. We want to be able to keep doing this year after year. We're now to shut down festival early again Sunday night after Gospel Fest concluded at 9 p.m. They say they will continue monitoring conditions and will decide whether additional early closures are needed later this week. Alrighty, that would do it for the first Edwin story. But basically, this is as pitiful as always. And they wonder why they don't get nothing because this generation takes things so lightly. This generation is as foolish. How in the world do you get pepper spray? How in the world do you get pepper spray? And what point is it to use pepper spray in a big old crowd? What do you get out of it? You ain't. It doesn't make you a big guy. It should makes you look stupid. Pepper spraying a crowd. Dang. That's what I said. That's what I said. You get what you earn. It pretty much sums up this story. You get what you earn. And this generation don't. They don't. They don't deserve the KDF. To be honest, if you gonna use KDF, if you're gonna use that time period to pepper spray innocent people, you don't deserve it. Like I said, it begins at the top, as always. It begins at the top. It begins at the top. But it's pitiful. It really is. And it's gonna it's gonna hurt Louisville when it's all said and done. Cause ain't nobody really gonna come back to a festival a year after almost getting pepper spray. A year after being pepper spray. Ain't nobody gonna do that. Unless they are really committed to what this festival pretty much represents. That's pretty much it. But other than that, they ain't about ready to come on back. Makes no sense. That's Doug life. That's what that is. Doug life. It pretty much sums up this story. Pretty much sums up this story. But that's all I got on it. Let's move to the last one, because I gotta get to my other job. Okay. Mayor Greenberg backs Lights Out Louisville initiative to reduce light pollution and protect birds. Okay, let's get this story in. It's brought to you by WDRB. Brought to you by WDRB. This story was updated April 23rd, 2026. Slow connection. Okay. Pretty much the publisher being the WDRB digital staff. Mayor Greenberg, I already read that. Okay. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg is partnering with local organizers to reduce light pollution in the city and save birds. Light pollution. That's the first time I ever heard of something like that. Louisville Parks and Recreation announced in a Tuesday release Thursday afternoon Greenberg's partnership with Lights Out Louisville is a conservative program sponsored by the Louisville Audubon Society. With the focus substantially in energy conservation goals, the program works to help protect migratory birds from artificial light at night. All right, Alan. Alan attracts and disorients birds, which can lead to fatal collisions with buildings, windows. According to the release, as many as 5 billion birds across the United States die each year from these crashes. Though its partnerships with Lights Out Louisville Metro government is working to reduce light pollution across the park, cities, buildings, and library branches. Louisville Park and Recreation to help by using natural lighting standards to new projects, finding ways to upgrade existing lighting, and training staff to cut back on the excess light during the migration seasons. Like turn off non-essential lights. Lights Out Louisville provided the following tips for supporting their initiative. Don't need to read that. Okay. To wrap it up, Louisville is committed to being a city that values both sustainability and environmental stewardship. Greenberg said in a release, participating in this important initiative will help reduce energy, use the greenhouse gas emissions, lower costs, protect our environment, and support the health of our residents. All right, and that would do it. Don't need to click on that to learn about Lights Out Louisville. But that would do it. Basically, this is a Save the Planet project for the birds. Maybe that's the reason why one bird hit our house one time. Yeah, maybe got disoriented by the lights, artificial lights. Well, but like I said, it's the first time I heard something like that. Alan, or whatever, however you can pronounce it, Alan. Learn something new every day. But I guess I'll give a story to my to my audience. What do you think about this initiative? Is it a good idea? Or is just whatever? Because his story is pretty much an attraction to them. His story will pretty much might attract the environmentalists. It's a story for environmentalists. Because but you never know. You got people out there that care about the environment. You got people out there that care about wildlife. But it is what it is. So that would do it for this one. It's doubleheader of the Reporter Vlog News for April 28, 2026 on a Tuesday, a wet Tuesday in Kentucky. You have a good one. I'm gone.